Yes. Yeah. Good evening, all. So myself, I'm Vijay. I hold like 20 plus years of experience, which has which includes experience in different technologies, which includes like big data, Hadoop, Spark, PySpark, Azure data engineering, right? So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yes, thank you. As part of today's demo, I'll be covering the following thing. Fine. Why Azure data engineer? Why data engineer, you say? First, you say why data engineer? Role of role of a data engineer. You go back 10 years or 15 years, right? There is no kind of a data engineer. We used to say like ETL developers. So generally, the differences, generally people ask, right? There are differences between data engineer, data scientist, data analyst. Data engineer products or services. Azure data engineer products, services. Overview on that. Next, job market of Azure data engineer. Job market of Azure data engineer. Okay. So starting with this is what I'll be discussing, right? Why data engineer, role of Azure data engineer, difference between data engineer, data scientist, and data analyst. Data engineer products or services, job market of Azure data engineer. Cloud. See, if you talk about cloud, it's majorly utilized for storing, analyzing, and delivering the data. See, cloud is majorly utilized for storing, analyzing, and delivering the data in various forms. Storing, analyzing, and delivering data in various forms. We see the difference between this on-premises and cloud premises. We talk about on-premises databases. On-premises, right? We talk about on-premises and cloud premise, right? So we need to, in the case of on-premise, um, we need to set up our own hardware infrastructure. We need to set up our own hardware infrastructure. On top of that, OS installation. On top of that OS installation, next, purchasing of a database license. Installation of a database server. Designing database objects. Okay. We need to set up our own hardware infrastructure. On top of that OS installation, purchasing database license, installation of database server, designing a database objects, in designing of database objects. To maintain all this, we require separate teams. To maintain all this, we require separate teams. We require separate teams. Hardware team is required. Operating system team. Next, like networking team, security team, database administrators, database administrators. Okay. To maintain all this, we require separate teams: hardware team, operating system team, networking team, security team, database administrator. But here, everything in the cloud premises, we no need to maintain all this. We no need of hardware team, operating system, networking, security, or all this. See, no need to maintain. No need to maintain any infrastructure. No need of any licenses. Everything in the cloud environment. Okay, this is cloud. So no need of any of this infrastructure, no need of any licenses, right? Everything here. So data engineers. Data engineers with the help of cloud services. Data engineers with the help of cloud services work on the data, make it structured and useful. Data engineers with the help of cloud services work on the data and make it structured and useful. Make it structured and useful. Data engineers are responsible. Data engineers responsible for smooth data flow. For smooth data flow from source to destination. Data engineers responsible for smooth data flow from source to destination. Data engineer, right? Data engineer will be responsible. Data engineer responsible for preparing data, cleansing data, transforming data. Yes. Processing data. Data engineer responsible, right, for preparing data, cleansing data, transforming data, and processing data. So if I talk about the differences between this data engineer, data scientist, data analyst, check this. Data scientist. And here I'm writing data analyst. So data scientist, the main role of this data scientist strategizes for the future, strategizes for the future. Analyze the data, identify the patterns, recommendations for the future. Analyze the data, identify the patterns, recommendations for the future. Identify the patterns, recommendations for the future. Data analyst. So data scientist strategizes for the future. Data analyst summarizes the past. Summarizes the past. Analyze the data. Summarize the data of the past. Summarize the data of the past and visualizing the data. Summarizes the past, analyze the data, summarize the data of the past, and visualizing the data. So data scientist, data analyst, and data engineer. So data engineer does all the groundwork. Data engineer does all the groundwork for data scientist and analyst. We talk like more than 80%, of data analysis is done by data engineers. More than 80% of data analysis work is done by data engineers. Data engineering involves what are the sources? What are the sources of data? Secondly, what is the format of the data? What is the format of the data? how to transform data, and what is the destination of the data. So data engineering involves what are the sources of the data, what is the format of the data, how to transform data, and what is the destination of the data. Now, why Azure Data Engineer? Why Azure Data Engineer? In demand. Why Azure Data Engineer is in demand today? Why there is a great boom for Azure Data Engineer? And even if you see the salary packages of this data engineer, right? Huge packages. 1.5 times or 2 times more than the other technologies, right? Yes. Why Azure Data Engineer is in demand? For example, check this. An organization. This is an organization. It wants to increase the business revenue by utilizing the customer behavioral data on the website. The organization using Azure for its operation. So it is going to hire Azure Data Engineer. Azure Data Engineer it is going to hire, and also a data scientist. It is going to hire two persons, Azure Data Engineer and data scientist. First, a data engineer creates a data warehouse. He is going to create a data warehouse for the organization. What is data warehouse? It is the storage of structured and queryable data. It contains data from various sources, such as user logs, clicks, existing customer data. Data engineer structures this data, stores it, and monitors in data warehouse. Secondly, this data engineer communicates with the data scientist, is going to communicate with the data scientist to understand the data requirement. He also communicates with the business team to know the business requirements of the organization. So he has to keep in mind the business needs when dealing with the data in hand. So every time he needs to keep in mind, right, the business requirement, business needs when dealing with the data. The data scientist later analyzes and creates insights from the processed data of data engineer. The business team requires the dashboard tools for visualizing these key insights. It helps the team to read the data easily. Data engineer, right? Keep constantly processing, analyzing, and monitoring the data. He creates the data pipelines. Is going to create a data pipelines for which the data is integrated with all the crucial stages of the data flow. He also makes sure that the pipeline is always efficient and secure. This is the primary roles of Azure Data Engineer. But apart from this, right, see if I make it clear, the various roles of Azure Data Engineer. Role of Azure Data Engineer. Role of Azure Data Engineer. First one, the first designing entire data flow architecture. Data flow architecture. Designing entire data flow architecture. Next, like designing entire data flow architecture, and creating a data warehouse. Creating data warehouse. For storage of analytical data. Third one is ETL. The third task is ETL. ETL process is one of the key tasks. It is one of the key tasks of data engineers. They need to extract the data from multiple sources. They need to extract the data from multiple sources, transform it into structured and queryable data, and load this data into company's storage service for further business evaluations by the data scientist and data monitoring. Data monitoring, right? Data monitoring. Data engineers, they make sure that the ETL is performed in a proper way and the data is available everywhere it is required. And also data security. Data security is also a major responsibility of data engineers. The, the data needs to be secure at each step of the process without any data leaks or data exposure. And next is like collaboration and communication. Collaboration and communication. Collaboration and communication. Uh, they have to constantly communicate with the business team to check if the team requires needs data insights. Collaborating with the data scientists is also necessary to deliver the data as per their needs. And analytics. So data engineers analyze the data and transform it into structured and useful format. They need to have some strong analytical and mathematical skills to perform this analysis. And also automation. Certain things have to be automated, right? They have to automate certain process which require minimal human intervention, such as extraction, right? Data extraction. So these are the major role of Azure data engineer. The main thing is designing entire data flow architecture, creating data warehouse, ETL, extract, transform, and load, data monitoring, and the data security at each step of the process without any leaks or exposures, collaboration and communications with the business team and data scientist. Analytics, need to have some analytical knowledge to perform analysis, and for automation side, certain things has to be automated, right? Yes. These are the role of Azure data engineer. Now coming to this services, Azure data engineering products or services. Azure data engineering products or services. Azure SQL. So Azure data engineering products and services, Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Streaming, Azure Key Vault, Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse Analytics, sorry, Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Factory, ADF here, we say ADF, Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Bricks, ADB, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Streaming, Azure Key Vault. So just I'll give overview about this Azure Data Engineering products. Yes. Azure SQL, the first one. Azure SQL. It is a cloud or DBMS. It is a cloud or DBMS database. Simply, I can say it is a cloud or DBMS database of Microsoft. In Azure. It is a cloud or DBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. It is for OLTP operations. It is for OLTP operations. OLTP captures OLTP system. It is going to capture end user transactions. Day-to-day transactions, right? Yes. It is not for data warehouse. This cloud or DBMS database of Microsoft is for OLTP. Azure Data Lake. Azure Data Lake. Distributed file system. Distributed file system. With unlimited data storage. With unlimited data storage. In cloud. Is called as data lake. Distributed file system with unlimited data storage in cloud is called as data lake. We talk about this HDFS, Hadoop distributed file system. HDFS. On-premises distributed file system. Azure Data Lake. We have got Azure Data Lake. Is a cloud distributed file system. It's a cloud. I can say it is a repository for large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Yes, it is a repository of large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Like thought like ADF, Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory. In a simple way, I say. It is a cloud ETL. That's it. It's a cloud ETL or cloud-based ETL of Microsoft in Azure Cloud Platform. It is a cloud-based ETL of Microsoft in Azure Cloud Platform. Okay, it is a ADF. ADF is a data integration service. Is a data integration service. So I'll discuss what it is. So generally, it's a cloud-based. It is a cloud ETL of Microsoft, right? Extract, transform, and load, and it is a data. It acts as a data integration service between the OLTPs and data warehouse. The raw data coming from one side, process data coming from other side, that being transformed as per the destination So ADF permits you to combine data from multiple sources, reformat it to analytical models, saving the models for querying, for visualizing, for reporting. It creates data flows for data movement and data transformation, right? We'll discuss in brief later. So you will be getting data from IoT, logs, media files, and for custom applications, business applications, it is going to extract it, load it into data lake. Later, this Databricks process it. Next, Azure Databricks. Azure Databricks, ADB. Simply, I can say it is a Apache Spark. It is a Apache Spark based data analytics platform. Data analytics platform for Microsoft Azure. So it combines data science, data engineering, and business together. It's Apache Spark-based data analytics platform. Spark is a very high-speed processing execution model. Very high-speed processing execution model, right? At a very high rate of speed, it's going to process the data. That too huge data in very quick time, right? So it is Apache Spark-based analytics platform from Microsoft Azure, right? Yes. Brings data science, data engineering, and business together. Later, I discuss in brief about these things. Coming to the Azure Synapse. Azure Synapse, Cloud or DBMS, for data warehouse, for analytics, for batch processing, for parallel processing, for parallel processing, for batch processing, for parallel processing, right? Yes. Azure Streaming, Azure Streaming Analytics, analyzing and processing high volumes of streaming data. What do you mean by streaming data? Data which keeps on incrementing, data which keeps on generating. Such data we call it as streaming data. The two from multiple sources. And the two simultaneously. Right? Azure Cosmos DB. Azure cloud-based, NoSQL database, you can say. Azure cloud-based NoSQL database. So just like we have got many NoSQL databases like Graph Store, Columnar Store, Document Store, Graph Store, like the famous NoSQL databases like MongoDB, HBase, Cassandra, Ria, Peanut, Neo4j, right? CouchDB. The same way, like the same manner, like cloud-based NoSQL database, that is Azure Cosmos DB. Azure Key Vault. Protecting data in the cloud. Protecting data in the cloud, right? Secure key management. So we use like Azure Key Vault for encrypting the keys and small secrets like passwords. Okay. So these are the major data engineering products. So as a ADF developer, if you go like as an ADF developer or like a Databricks developer, as a data engineer, you are going to interact with all these services, Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Cosmos DB. So you are going to store the data. You are going to read the data, or going to write the data into Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Cosmos DB, Azure Synapse, right from this. So as directly or indirect, so you are going to interact with all this as a ADF developer, as a Databricks developer, as a data engineer, you are going to interact with all these things, right? Yes. So what is the course content I'm going to discuss, right? So here, before I go, okay, subservice. Azure Data Engineer. So mainly going to discuss like Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, ADB, in this Azure Data Engineering course, right? Azure Data Factory, ADF, Azure Databricks, PySpark, Azure Synapse, Azure Synapse, right? Apart from this, this is the main discussion, Azure Data Factory, Databricks, PySpark, plus you will be given knowledge on this Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Streaming. So as a data engineer, so about you'll be getting the entire knowledge in brief about these things. Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, ADB, PySpark, and apart from this, I'll also be providing knowledge on these things. See the course content ones, right? Just have a look at this course content. Azure Data Factory, first overview of Azure resources or services, Azure Data Factory, Databricks, Azure SQL, Key Vault, Synapse, Cosmos DB streaming. Azure Data Factory. What is Azure Data Factory? Its architecture, Data Factory UI, top level concepts, pipelines, activities, data sets, triggers, data flows, integration, runtime. Pipeline. What is a pipeline? Creating a new pipeline, organizing pipelines into folders, debug pipeline, publish pipeline, parameters for pipeline, linked services for blob, MySQL database, SQL server, data lake, and data sets. What is a data set? Creating data set for Avro file, binary file, CSV, Excel, JSON, ORC, Parquet, XML, blob, tables in SQL database, parameterization, data set parameterizations, activities, variables, creating a variable, set variable, append variable, copy data, general source, sync, mapping, settings, user properties, one file from a folder, all files from a folder, all files and folders recursively from the folder, copy data file from blob to SQL database, Databricks, Azure function, get data, get metadata, delete, execute pipeline, validation, iteration condition, filter for each if condition, switch until triggers, What is trigger types, schedule trigger, tumbling window, storage event triggers, integration runtime, Azure managed virtual network, self-hosted, source control, credentials, managed private endpoints, okay, data flows, mapping data flows, transformations, filter, conditional split, exist, union, lookup, group by, pivot, unpivot, flatten, filter, flowlet, validate schema, schema drift, removing duplicate rows, slowly changing dimensions, right? Type 1, type 2. And many exercises nearly 50 exercises I'm going to show you. Let all this creating copy activity, bulk, copy tables from files until activity, filter, join, lookup, pivot, alter row, SCDs. Let all this. Coming to the Databricks, before I go with Databricks, I'll be providing you some knowledge on this big data. I'm going to provide you some knowledge on this Hadoop, some knowledge on this Spark, and on Azure. So, an introduction to this Azure, an introduction to this Databricks, creating of Azure Databricks service, Azure CLI, adding users and groups to the workspace, creating a cluster from the user interface, getting started with notebooks, Databricks cluster management, displaying cluster, starting cluster, terminating cluster, deleting a cluster, cluster information, cluster logs, cluster access controls, types of cluster, all purpose, job cluster, Databricks pools, cluster modes, high concurrency, auto scaling, Databricks utilities, data utilities, file system, job utility, Databricks integration with the Azure Data Lake, SQL database, Synapse, Snowflake, Databricks handling multiple file formats, CSV, JSON, Parquet, Excel, XML, ORC, Avro files, batch processing, historical incremental date transformations, join operations, window functions, union operations, streaming API, handling bad records, lakehouse, Delta Lake, differences between Delta Lake and Delta table, introduction to Delta Lake, features of Delta Lake, how to create Delta table, how DML operations in Delta table, merge statements, handling SCD type 1, type 2, data duplications, workflows in Databricks, scheduling Databricks jobs, monitor Databricks jobs, Azure Synapse, overview of pools, using Azure Synapse Analytics to query data lake, Azure storage accounts, integration with Azure Synapse, Azure Synapse triggers, Azure SQL database integration with Azure Synapse, incremental load, loading and notification of key vaults, deep dive into copy activity, data flows, join, union, lookup, window, pivot, alter, and Spark pool, introduction to Azure Synapse, right? Reading and writing JSON files, Avro files, Excel files, all this. So in brief, in depth, we'll be discussing about all these things. Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Synapse, and PySpark. Means Azure Databricks with the PySpark, right? Yes. And also everything, storing, interacting with all these things, right? Data like Cosmos DB. And if I talk about this job market, right? Yes. So according to this Microsoft, right, every year like lakhs of new companies, they're registering themselves on Azure. Like more than 95% of the Fortune 500 companies are utilizing Azure cloud services. The in turn increasing the number of job opportunities, the number of job opportunities for Azure data engineers. So major companies, they are using Azure, they are shifting to Azure and regularly need professionals who can work in Azure and handling huge data. According to the pay scales, data engineers have got the highest average salary as closely as data scientists. From the survey of global knowledge, you can see, right, the top two highest paying jobs, data engineer and data scientist. So if you want to have it, if you want to change the career to this data engineering side, so it is one of the best choice. So, so it is one of the data engineering jobs is the emerging jobs. And even companies like Facebook, Intel, Microsoft, Amazon, all they're interested in hiring these data engineers as a with a great salary packages. You can see the salary package also as compared with other technologies. Even like tech giants like Google, Apple, Cognizant, Walmart are offering high-paying jobs for this data engineers, right? So yeah, tomorrow also everyone can attend the session same time at 6 p.m. using the same link. And let me make it will spice park big. Yes, PySpark will be covered in this. Yes, PySpark also will be covered. See here, most of this what I said in the syllabus, many not touch and go in total like. So I said before I go with Databricks, first I'll give knowledge on this big data, Hadoop, Spark, and later in this we're dealing with different types of data and clusters, Spark cluster, creation of the Spark cluster, working with CSV, JSON, Parquet, Excel, all this data. And this everything, date transformations, incremental loading, join operations, window function, union operations, Databricks batch processing using Spark by Spark, right? Yes, these things. And data frame API. Total data frame API I will be discussing in brief.
Sir, can I ask some question?
Yeah, just a second. Timings.
Hello,
So, yeah, yeah,
hello.
just a second, just 1 minute, right? Let me complete this, then I'll come back to with your queries. So for the first 3 to 4 days, right, the timings will be at starts at 6 p.m. Later it will be at 7 p.m. up to the end of the course. So it first 3 to 4 days, it will be at 6 p.m. So before you go with the payment process, I'm making you to clear about the timings. First 3 4 days only it will be at 6 p.m. Later it will start at 7 p.m. up to the end of the course. Daily 1 hour, 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. it starts. Right? And offerings from my side. What are the offerings from my side, right? Yes. Each and every session, live session video. Each and every session video you'll be getting, even if you miss any session, you can go to the recording and attend the next session for the better understanding. Soft copy of the class notes. And assignments and tasks to work. Assignments are tasks to work. And a WhatsApp group will be created for technical discussions. If you get any error, you can take the snap of it and post in the WhatsApp group. Anybody can be answering. I'll be answering it. And interview questions. Okay. Live session video, soft copy of the class notes, assignments and tasks. And WhatsApp and interview questions, right? Yes. So this is the things, right? So tomorrow also you can attend the session to see more discuss. Yes, someone was asking some queries, right? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, some of you were asking queries. Now go with your queries, right? All the sessions will be interactive sessions. Any point of time, if you got any query, you can unmute and you can answer, right? Just you can ask the queries. You'll be in unmuted status only through voice or through chat. You can communicate, right? Yes.
This will be a weekend classes or weekdays classes?
These are weekdays classes. Daily it will be
Okay.
Monday to Friday.
Sir, in Databricks, sir, where we are going to use it, sir? Which tool are you going to create Databricks services? Yeah, community edition you will use.
So yes, see for Azure Databricks, right? If you want
Yes, sir.
like total PySpark features, Spark SQL kind of features, see, okay, you need to go with pay as you go version. See, for this Azure subscription, it is giving free subscription, right? So I'll show you
Mhm.
how to get the free subscription for this Azure and how to work with the practical part. For Azure Data Factories, all this, even some part of Databricks also you can use it. And especially from Databricks, if you go with Spark side, right? At PySpark, if you want functionalities, full-fledged functionalities to be used, then you need to go with the premium version, pay as you go version. There also I'll say you how it can reduce, with minimal cost, how you can get it. I'll be discussing. Means whenever you practice, you need to practice and immediately delete it. Again, it takes
Sir,
just 2 to 5 minutes it takes to recreate it. Once tomorrow, if you want to use it in this way, if you want to minimize the price, I will show you how you can with minimum price, how you can get the Databricks features. Otherwise, if otherwise it is a cluster keeps running, it will be charged for that.
Sir,
Right?
in class, you will create cluster or what?
Yes, everything I'll be showing you. Without cluster, you cannot run this Databricks jobs.
Mhm.
In
Sir,
area, in
one more
area,
thing, sir.
yes.
Said how to create the tables. There are the different what tabs are there in Databricks having a catalog. What
Yes,
is
sir.
what is the use of catalogs and how to backtrace the jobs?
See, one thing, right? It's a big thing. Okay, to explain it, it takes a time. But as you asked, right? 1 second. So the first thing in Databricks, everything is a catalog. Compulsory, we need to create a catalog. So check this Databricks with PySpark notes, right? So yes, this is the entire notes. For every batch, I'll be creating the notes separately. So how to mount ADLS Azure Data Lake with the DBFS file system. Databricks community Unity catalog. This is the diagram for that Unity, what you have asked. So it's too early to discuss, but as you asked, so just check with this diagram. I have just drawn this diagram in the paint. Check this. So catalog is the catalog. First, we are supposed to create this catalog, and using with the catalog, you will be giving privileges to the users. To which users you want to give the privilege, you can give the privilege access, right? And within the catalog, if you want to create multiple catalogs for development, for QA, and for production, for all this, for every environment, I'll create one catalog: dev catalog, QA catalog, production catalog. Within this catalog, database one within dev catalog. For example, dev catalog development, production. For dev catalog, database one, database two, database multiple databases I'll create. Within the databases, tables I'll create. Within each database, I'm talking about a single database, tables, views, functions, volumes. Again, in each table, managed tables are there, unmanaged tables are there, volumes, managed volumes, unmanaged volumes, views, functions. All this in, you know about tables and views in SQL, functions and volumes we got. Right?
So will be discuss Unity catalog as well.
Without that, you cannot run the show, right?
Yes, because most of the times in interview people are asking.
This is the main thing, Unity catalog. Unity catalog is the main thing among all this. Compulsory, we need to create it. See the steps, clear steps I'll be showing you about this, right? So Databricks Unity catalog diagram, Databricks Unity catalog, Databricks Lakehouse platform, Databricks Lakehouse platform, setting up Unity catalog, provisioning and adding users to Unity catalog, creating users to the Unity catalog, creating metastore objects in the Unity catalog, granting and revoking privileges, creating volumes, creating external locations, everything in this Unity catalog only, right?
Mhm.
So this is notes for this, right? For PySpark, clear notes of this PySpark, right? So PySpark computations, data frames, API, right? Unity catalog compulsory.
Yeah.
So you will provide notes also, or this recordings you will provide.
Yeah, recordings will be there, notes will be both. See this session video, each and every session is video recorded. But
Okay, and one more thing, I've checked you have multiple sites on Google. So which one is like original?
which one?
Because every time I open your site on Google, so durgasoft.com, durgasolution.com. So which one is yours?
See, 1 second. Go to this Google and that Durga Software Solutions, you say.
Yes.
Durga Software Solutions, durgasoft.com. Durgasoft.com. If you say the
And
Durgasoft.com, right? You will see all this site will get. This is the site where that all running courses you can see.
okay.
So you can see today's, right, ADE and Azure Data Engineering. Today's demo, right? In this
Okay, fine.
durgasoft.com, right? Yes. Where you can see the posters of different starting.
Yes, yes, yes.
And clear notes will be provided for topic wise, each and everything clearly. If people from any, there is a prerequisites, means for ADF, there is no prerequisites. For Databricks, some basic SQL knowledge is required and basic Python knowledge is required. Basic Python knowledge is required, right? Yes.
Okay.
Python basics. Okay. Even I'll be giving syntaxes of this Python for just 2-3 days. I'll be briefing you about the syntaxes before I go with the practicals. Fine. So tomorrow also you can attend the session to see more discussion on this, right? Any other queries, right? Anyone having any other queries? So everything will be from this ground level to the advanced level. Anyone with zero programming knowledge or anything with zero skills, right? The only thing is attending the sessions and doing the practicals and asking the queries during the sessions, or after the start of the session, you can ask the queries, right? Whenever you are practicing, if you get anything. Otherwise, a separate WhatsApp group is there for discussions, right? Anybody can discuss. I'll be answering, right? If any errors are that, fine. Okay. So if I'm done with your queries, if there are no other queries, I'm signing off for now. Meet you tomorrow, same time at 6 p.m. with the same link, right? Thank you all for your time. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.